The Galactic Council was shocked. Earth finally fought back. Part 1 Commander Jake Sullivan looked out the window of Earth's last space station. A huge alien ship was moving toward Earth. It was dark blue and covered in strange lights. Jake had seen many ships like this before. For 15 years, the aliens had been coming to Earth. They always wanted something. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council. There were 12 different alien races in this council. They all looked different from humans. Some were tall and thin. Others were short and fat. Some had scales like fish. Others had fur like animals. But they all had one thing in common. They thought humans were stupid. Jake pressed a button on his desk. A screen came on. Admiral Lisa Carter appeared on the screen. She was in her office on Earth. Her face looked worried. "Jake, we just got another message from the aliens," Lisa said. "This time it's different. It's worse than before." Jake felt his stomach get tight. For 15 years, the aliens had been asking for things from Earth. First, they wanted gold and silver. Earth gave it to them. Then they wanted computers and machines. Earth gave those too. Then they started taking people. They said they needed to study humans. Thousands of people had gone with the aliens. None of them ever came back. "What do they want now?" Jake asked. Lisa's face got pale. "They want our children. 1 million children between 5 and 12 years old. They say it's for something called genetic compatibility studies." Jake stood up so fast his chair fell over. "What, they want to take our kids?" "That's what the message says. If we don't give them the children, they will destroy Earth. They gave us 1 week to decide." Jake walked to the window again. The alien ship was getting bigger. He could see smaller ships coming out of it. These were the ships that would land on Earth, the ships that would take the children away. "What did the world leaders say?" Jake asked. "For the first time in 15 years, everyone agrees," Lisa said. "Every country on Earth said the same thing. No, we will not give them our children." Jake felt scared but also proud. Humans could be brave when they needed to be, even when facing something as big and scary as the Galactic Council. On Earth, Dr. Amy Foster was working in a secret lab under the ice in Antarctica. She had been working there for 10 years. The lab was called Project Phoenix. Very few people knew it existed. Amy and her team had been studying alien technology that Earth had captured over the years. Every time the aliens came to Earth, some of their small ships would break down. Earth's military would secretly take these ships before the aliens could fix them. Amy's job was to figure out how they worked. Dr. Foster called her assistant, Ben Rodriguez. "We just got the order. Phoenix is ready to start." Amy looked at the big machine in front of her. It looked like a mix of human and alien technology. For 10 years, they had been copying alien designs and making them better. They had learned how to make force fields like the aliens. They had learned how to make their ships faster. Most importantly, they had learned how to hide from alien sensors. "Are all the teams ready?" Amy asked. "Yes. Teams are hidden on the Moon, on Mars, and in space stations around Earth. Everyone is waiting for the signal." Amy picked up a red phone. This phone connected her directly to military bases all over Earth and in space. "This is Dr. Foster," she said into the phone. "Phoenix teams, this is it. Today we stop being victims. Today we fight back." Captain Ben Rodriguez was on the Moon at Luna Base. He was looking at screens that showed all the alien ships near Earth. There were more ships than he had ever seen before. The aliens really meant to destroy Earth if they didn't get the children. Ben pressed some buttons on his control panel. Suddenly, lights started flashing all around the room. Other soldiers ran to their stations. "Listen up, everyone," Ben said loudly. "For 15 years, we've been giving these aliens everything they wanted. We gave them our gold. We gave them our technology. We even gave them our people. But we will not give them our children." The soldiers cheered. They had been waiting for this day for a long time. "Today we use everything we learn from them against them. Today we show them that humans are not weak. We are not stupid. We are fighters." Ben looked at a big red button on his desk. This button would start the biggest fight in human history. He thought about all the children on Earth. He thought about his own daughter, who was 7 years old. The aliens would never take her. Back on the space station, Jake got a call from General Tony Walsh. Tony was in charge of all of Earth's hidden weapons. "Jake, are you ready up there?" Tony asked. "We're ready. How many alien ships are we facing?" "About 200 big ships and maybe 1,000 small ones. But don't worry. We have surprises for them." Jake laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "Tony, they have technology that's hundreds of years ahead of ours. How can we possibly win? Because we've been studying their technology for 10 years. And because we have something they don't have. What's that? We have something to fight for. They're fighting because they want to take things from us. We're fighting because we want to protect our children. That makes all the difference. The alien ships were now very close to Earth. Jake could see them clearly through his window. They were beautiful in a scary way. They moved smoothly through space like fish swimming in water. But Jake was not afraid anymore. Hidden all around the solar system were human ships that looked like alien ships. Hidden in space were weapons that the aliens didn't know about. Hidden on Earth were soldiers with alien technology. Jake picked up his radio. He spoke to every human soldier in space and on Earth. This is Commander Sullivan. 15 years ago, we thought we had no choice but to give the aliens what they wanted. We were wrong. Today we show them that Earth is not their playground. Today we show them that humans fight for their families. Jake looked at his control panel. There was a big button marked Phoenix. He put his finger on the button. All stations, this is Jake Sullivan. Phoenixes go. Let's show these aliens what happens when you threaten human children. He pressed the button. All around Earth, hidden weapons came to life. The biggest fight in human history was about to begin. The Galactic Council was shocked. Earth finally fought back. Part 2, the first alien ship exploded without warning. Commander Zektar of the Zephyrian fleet watched in shock as his lead destroyer turned into a ball of fire and metal pieces. This was impossible. Earth had no weapons that could destroy his ships. Report, Zektar yelled at his crew. What happened to Destroyer 7? His weapons officer looked confused. Sir, we don't know. There was no attack, no energy blast. The ship just exploded. What Zektar didn't know was that 3 months ago Lieutenant Colonel Kate Brooks had sneaked onto his destroyer. She was wearing a special suit that made her invisible to alien eyes. The suit was made using technology stolen from the morphic aliens, who could change their shape and color. Kate had planted a small bomb inside the ship's main engine. The bomb was designed by human scientists who had studied alien technology for 10 years. When Jake pressed the Phoenix button, bombs like this exploded on 50 alien ships at the same time. On Earth, General Tony Walsh was sitting in a deep underground bunker. The bunker was hidden under the Rocky Mountains. Tony was watching screens that showed the battle in space. He smiled as he saw alien ships exploding. Phase 1 is working, Tony said to his staff. Their communication system is down. They can't call for help from other alien worlds. Tony pressed another button. Suddenly, all around Earth, strange machines turned on. These machines made a special kind of energy field. The energy field blocked the aliens from sending messages faster than light speed. For the first time in hundreds of years, a Galactic Council fleet was cut off from their home worlds. In space, more human weapons came to life. These weapons had been hidden for years. Some were built inside asteroids. Others were hidden on the dark side of the moon. The aliens had never seen them because human scientists had learned how to hide from alien sensors. Chief Engineer Rick Davis was on board a new human spaceship called the ESV Defiance. The ship looked like it was made by aliens, but it was really built by humans using stolen alien technology. Rick had spent 5 years building this ship in secret. Captain Murphy, all systems are ready. Rick said to the ship's commander, Captain, Steve Murphy had been chosen to command the Defiance because he was the best fighter, pilot on Earth. He had studied alien flying techniques by watching captured videos of alien battles. Good, let's show these aliens how humans fight, Steve said. The Defiance moved toward the alien fleet. To the aliens, it looked like one of their own ships. This was because humans had copied the ship's design from a captured alien vessel, but inside the ship was full of human weapons and human ideas. Steve flew the Defiance straight at the biggest alien ship. The aliens didn't shoot at him because they thought he was one of them. When Steve got close, he fired every weapon on his ship at once. The alien ship's shields flashed and broke. Human weapons were different from alien weapons. Alien weapons used pure energy. Human weapons fired pieces of metal at very high speed. The aliens had never seen weapons like this before, so their shields couldn't stop them. Commander Zektar watched as his main battleship took damage. How is this possible? That ship looks like one of ours, but it's fighting like a human ship. Sir, his science officer said, I'm reading strange technology on that vessel. It appears to be a mix of our technology and something else. Dr. Amy Foster was still in her lab under the ice. She was watching the battle on her screens and talking to human fighters all over the solar system. Team 3. This is Dr. Foster. The aliens are trying to fix their communication system. Stop them. Team 3 was a group of human soldiers floating in space near an alien communication ship. They were wearing spacesuits that made them invisible to alien sensors. The leader of Team 3 was Sergeant Bill Watson. We see the target, Dr. Foster. Moving in now. Bill and his team flew to the alien ship using small jets on their spacesuits. They attached more bombs to the ship's antenna. When the bombs exploded, the alien ship could no longer send or receive messages. On the alien ships, panic was spreading. Admiral Velthera of the Crystalline Hegemony had never seen anything like this battle. Her people had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never fought an enemy that used their own technology against them. "How do the humans have our shield technology?" she asked her staff. "We don't know, Admiral. But they're not just copying our technology. They're making it better." This was true. Human engineers like Rick Davis had taken alien technology and improved it. Alien shields were designed to stop alien weapons. But humans had made shields that could stop both alien and human weapons. Human engines were faster than alien engines because humans had combined alien technology with human ideas about physics. The battle was not going as the aliens had planned. They had expected to destroy Earth in a few hours. Instead, they were losing ships and couldn't even talk to each other. Back on the space station, Jake Sullivan was coordinating the human attack. He had never felt so proud to be human. For 15 years, everyone had thought humans were weak and stupid. Now they were proving that humans were the smartest fighters in the galaxy. "Jake, this is Captain Rodriguez on Luna Base," came a voice over the radio. "We're ready for Phase 2. "What's Phase 2? Jake asked. "We're going to capture one of their big ships. We need to show the galaxy that humans can beat the Galactic Council in a fair fight." Jake looked at the alien fleet through his window. Many ships were already destroyed or damaged, but the biggest ships were still fighting. "Ben, that sounds very dangerous. Those big ships have thousands of alien soldiers." "Jake, we've been studying how aliens fight for 10 years. They're not used to fighting in their own ships. They fight in space or on planets. But humans have practiced fighting inside spaceships our whole lives. Every human child has played war games in spaceships." This was another thing the aliens had not expected. Human soldiers were very good at fighting inside buildings and spaceships. They had practiced this kind of fighting for hundreds of years in their wars on Earth. Lieutenant Colonel Kate Brooks was already on her way to capture an alien ship. She was leading a team of 50 human soldiers. They were flying in a small ship that looked like an alien transport vessel. "Remember," Kate told her team, "aliens are bigger and stronger than humans, but they move slowly and they don't think fast. Use your speed and your brains." Kate's ship flew toward a damaged alien cruiser. The alien ship was hurt but still dangerous. It had over 1,000 alien soldiers inside. "Kate, this is Dr. Foster," came a voice over the radio. "The alien ship you're approaching is a Vorthak vessel. Vorthak aliens are very big and very strong, but they can't see well in the dark. Use that against them." Kate smiled. "Thanks, Dr. Foster. We'll turn off their lights first." As Kate's team prepared to board the alien ship, more human weapons were activating all over the solar system. The aliens were learning that humans were not the weak, stupid species they had thought. Humans were smart, tricky, and very angry. The war for Earth had just begun and the aliens were already losing. The Galactic Council was shocked. Earth finally fought back, Part 3 high. Counselor Zextar was having the worst day of his very long life. He was sitting in the great council chamber on the planet Altara, watching reports from the battle at Earth. Nothing made sense anymore. "Counselor," said his aide, a nervous young Altarian with purple skin, "we're getting more reports from the Sol system. The humans have captured 3 of our ships." Zextar's 4 eyes went wide. "Captured? How does a primitive species capture Galactic Council ships?" "We don't know, sir. The ships just went dark. When we tried to contact them, humans answered the radio calls." This was exactly what had happened to Commander Braktor of the Vorthak Empire. Braktor was 12 feet tall and weighed as much as a small car. His people were known as the strongest fighters in the galaxy. But right now, Braktor was tied up in his own ship's prison cell. Lieutenant Colonel Kate Brooks walked into the prison area of the captured Vorthak ship. She was only 5.5 feet tall, but she had defeated the giant alien commander in hand-to-hand combat. "How?" Braktor asked in his deep, rumbling voice. "How did your tiny warriors defeat my soldiers?" Kate sat down in a chair across from the prison cell. "You want to know how we beat you? I'll tell you. Your soldiers are very big and very strong, but they move like they're underwater. Human soldiers are fast. We think fast, we move fast, and we shoot fast. This was true. When Kate's team had boarded the Vorthak ship, they had turned off all the lights. The big alien soldiers couldn't see in the dark, but humans could use special night vision goggles. The aliens were stumbling around in the dark while humans shot them with stun weapons. But that's not the real reason we won, Kate continued. We won because we were fighting for our children. You were fighting because someone told you to fight. When someone is trying to hurt your family, you find strength you didn't know you had. Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Mitchell was broadcasting a message to the entire galaxy. Sarah was a scientist, but she was also very good at giving speeches. Her message was being sent to every planet in Galactic Council space. People of the galaxy, Sarah said, looking into the camera. For hundreds of years, the Galactic Council has told you that you need them for protection. They said that without them, weak species like humans would be destroyed by stronger ones. Sarah held up a tablet showing pictures of the battle, but look what's happening at Earth right now. The weak humans are defeating the mighty Galactic Council. We're not stronger than them. We're not smarter than them. But we're fighting for something they don't understand. We're fighting for freedom. On the planet Morphia, millions of shapeshifters were watching Sarah's broadcast. The Morphic people had been slaves of the Galactic Council for 50 years. They could change their shape and color, but the Council had put control collars on all of them. A young Morphic named Slicks watched Sarah's speech with hope in his heart. If the humans can fight back, maybe we can too, he whispered to his friend. Meanwhile, Captain Steve Murphy was leading the human fleet toward the largest alien ship in the battle zone. This ship was called the Destroyer of Worlds, and it was the size of a small city. The ship belonged to Admiral Velthera of the Crystalline Hegemony. Captain, said his weapons officer, Lieutenant Dave Clark, that ship has enough firepower to destroy a planet. Are you sure we can take it? Steve looked at the massive alien ship on his screen. It was covered in weapon systems and energy shields. Dave, 6 months ago I was flying a fighter jet that used chemical fuel. Today I'm commanding a spaceship with alien technology. If we can learn to do that, we can learn to beat them at their own game. Steve's ship, the ESV Defiance, was joined by 12 other human ships. These ships had been built in secret using captured alien technology, but they were designed using human ideas about how to fight in space. All ships, this is Captain Murphy, Steve said over the radio. Remember, we're not trying to destroy their ship. We're trying to capture it. We want to send a message to the galaxy that humans don't just fight to win. We fight to make things better. Admiral Velthara was watching the human ship's approach on her main screen. Her crystalline body was glowing bright red, which meant she was very angry. These humans are insects, she said to her crew. Fire all weapons. Destroy them now. The Destroyer of Worlds fired dozens of energy beams at the human ships. But something strange happened. The human ships didn't try to dodge the attacks. Instead, they flew straight into the energy beams. What are they doing? Velthara asked. Are they trying to commit suicide? Her science officer checked his instruments. Admiral, their shields are absorbing our energy attacks. They're not taking any damage. This was another human innovation. Dr. Amy Foster's team had learned how to make shields that could absorb energy instead of just blocking it. The human ships were actually getting stronger as the aliens attacked them. Steve smiled as he felt his ship's power levels increase. Thank you for the free energy, he said. Now it's our turn. The human ships fired back, but they didn't use energy weapons. Instead, they fired special nets made of super strong metal fibers. The nets wrapped around the alien ship's weapon systems and shut them down. On the planet Zephyr, the news of the battle was causing riots. The Zephyrian people had been told that their fleet was invincible. Now they were watching their ships get defeated by a species that wasn't even in the Galactic Council. Emperor Kreknash was furious. How are these humans doing this? Our technology is thousands of years ahead of theirs. His chief scientist, Dr. Yulvan, was studying the battle reports. Your Majesty, the humans aren't using technology that's more advanced than ours. They're using our technology, but they're using it in ways we never thought of. What do you mean? For example, we use energy shields to protect our ships. Humans use the same shields, but they also use them to absorb energy and make their ships stronger. We use force fields to push things away. Humans use force fields to grab things and pull them closer. This was the secret of human success. Humans were very good at taking existing tools and using them in new ways. The aliens had powerful technology, but they always used it the same way. Humans took that same technology and found dozens of different ways to use it. Back in space, the battle for the destroyer of worlds was almost over. Human soldiers were boarding the massive alien ship from dozens of different entry points. The crystalline aliens were good at fighting in open spaces, but they had trouble fighting in the narrow corridors of their own ship. Sergeant Bill Watson was leading one of the boarding teams. His team had studied the layout of crystalline ships for months. They knew exactly where to go to take control of the ship's systems. "Bill, this is Kate Brooks," came a voice over his radio. "How's it going over there?" "We've taken the engine room and the bridge," Bill replied. "The aliens are surrendering." "I think they're more confused than scared." This was true. The crystalline aliens had never been defeated before. They didn't understand how a primitive species could outsmart them. Many of them were simply giving up because they couldn't believe what was happening. Admiral Velthara was brought to the bridge of her own ship as a prisoner. Captain Steve Murphy was now sitting in her command chair. "I demand to know how you did this," Velthara said, her crystalline body flashing angry colors. Steve stood up and walked over to her. "We did this the same way humans have always survived. We adapted, we learned, and we never gave up." He pointed to the screen showing Earth. "You came here thinking you could take our children. You thought we would be too scared to fight back. You were wrong. Humans will always fight for their families." The news of the destroyer of worlds being captured spread across the galaxy in hours. For the first time in Galactic Council history, a primitive species had defeated them in open battle. But the war was far from over. The real shock was yet to come. The Galactic Council was shocked. Earth finally fought back. Part 4, 6 months after the first battle at Earth. Fleet Admiral Chris Taylor was standing on the bridge of a captured alien mothership that humans now called the Retribution. The ship was huge, bigger than any building on Earth, but now it belonged to humanity. Chris looked at the star map on the main screen. Red dots showed planets controlled by the Galactic Council. Green dots showed planets that humans had liberated. There were a lot more green dots than there had been 6 months ago. "Admiral," said Captain Nina Brooks, who was Chris's second in command, "we're getting reports from the Kepler system. The rescue mission was successful." Chris smiled. The Kepler system was where the aliens had built their biggest research station. Thousands of humans who had been taken from Earth over the years were kept there for experiments. Today, human soldiers had freed them all. Colonel Matt Johnson was leading the rescue mission at Kepler Station. Matt was a big man with scars on his face from fighting aliens. He had volunteered for this mission because his own brother had been taken by the aliens 5 years ago. "Search every room," Matt told his soldiers. "We're not leaving anyone behind." The rescue team found humans in hundreds of different rooms throughout the station. Some had been there for only a few months. Others had been prisoners for over 10 years. But they were all alive, and they were all coming home. What Matt didn't expect to find were humans who had been changed by alien experiments. Dr. Lisa Park had been taken from Earth 3 years ago. But now she looked different. Her eyes glowed with a strange light and she could move things without touching them. "Dr. Park," Matt said carefully, "are you okay?" "What did they do to you?" Lisa smiled, but it was a sad smile. "They tried to make me like them. They gave me alien abilities, but they made a mistake. They made me stronger, but I'm still human inside. I still remember Earth. I still remember my family." Lisa and dozens of other changed humans became some of Earth's most powerful soldiers. They had human hearts and minds, but they also had alien abilities. They could read thoughts, change their shape, or manipulate energy with their minds. Back at Earth, Dr. Amy Foster was working on humanity's biggest project yet. In space above Earth, humans were building a new kind of spaceship. It was called the ESV Sovereign, and it was bigger than any ship the aliens had ever built. "Dr. Foster," said her assistant engineer Rick Davis, "the new drive system is ready for testing." Amy looked at the massive ship taking shape outside the space station. The Sovereign was built using technology from 6 different alien races, but it was designed using human ideas about how spaceships should work. "Rick, this ship is our chance to end the war. If it works, we can reach the Altarian homeworld in 2 weeks instead of 2 months." The Altarians were the leaders of the Galactic Council. They lived on a planet far from Earth, protected by the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. But Amy and her team had been studying Altarian technology for months. They thought they knew how to beat it. On the planet Morphia, the shape-shifting aliens were planning their own rebellion. The young Morphic named Slicks had been secretly organizing his people for months. "The humans are coming to free us," Slicks told a group of other young Morphics. "But we don't have to wait for them. We can free ourselves." The Morphics had been wearing control collars for 50 years. The collars stopped them from using their shape-shifting powers. But Slicks had learned something from watching human broadcasts. He had learned that humans always found ways around alien technology. Using tools stolen from a Galactic Council supply depot, Slicks and his friends had figured out how to remove the control collars. One by one, they were freeing their people. In space, the war was turning into something the Galactic Council had never seen before. Human ships were not just winning battles. They were convincing other alien species to join them. Captain Steve Murphy was meeting with representatives from the Aquatic Collective, a group of fish-like aliens who had been conquered by the Galactic Council 20 years ago. "Captain Murphy," said Ambassador Glubtar, speaking through a water-filled helmet, "your species offers us something we have not heard in decades." "You offer us hope," Steve nodded. "We're not fighting to conquer anyone. We're fighting to make sure that no one gets conquered anymore. If you join us, you'll be our partners, not our servants." This was the difference between humans and the Galactic Council. The Council conquered species and made them slaves. Humans liberated species and made them allies. The news of more species joining the humans was causing panic on the planet Altara. High Counselor Zextar was meeting with the other council leaders in emergency session. "The humans have allied with the Morphics, the Aquatics, and the Insectoids," Zextar said. "Half of our empire is in rebellion." Counselor Vexa of the Vorthak Empire slammed his massive fist on the table. "This is impossible. How can one primitive species cause this much trouble?" "Because they're not primitive," said Counselor Yilna of the Robotic Collective. "My analysis shows that human technology has advanced beyond ours in several areas. They learn faster than any species we've ever encountered." This was true. In 6 months, humans had gone from being helpless victims to being the most advanced military force in the galaxy. They had done this by combining the best technology from every species they met. Back on the Retribution, Admiral Chris Taylor was planning humanity's boldest move yet. The ESV Sovereign was almost finished, and it was time to take the war directly to the Galactic Council's homeworlds. "Chris, this is Dr. Foster," came a voice over the ship's communication system. "The Sovereign is ready for its first mission. Where do you want to go?" Chris looked at the star map again. There was one planet that was more important than all the others. If they could take this planet, the war would be over. "Amy, plot a course for Vorthak Prime. It's time to end this." Vorthak Prime was the homeworld of the Vorthak Empire, the strongest military force in the Galactic Council. The planet was protected by hundreds of defense stations and thousands of warships. It had never been successfully attacked in over 1,000 years, but humans had advantages that no previous attacker had possessed. They had technology from multiple alien species. They had allies who knew the Vorthak military systems. Most importantly, they had something that the Vorthak had never faced before: human determination. Colonel Matt Johnson was chosen to lead the ground assault on Vorthak Prime. His team included regular human soldiers, enhanced humans with alien abilities, and alien allies who wanted revenge against the Vorthak. "Listen up, everyone," Matt said to his assault team. "The Vorthak think they're the strongest warriors in the galaxy. They're about to learn that strength isn't just about how big you are. It's about how much you're willing to sacrifice for what you believe in." Dr. Lisa Park, the enhanced human from the Kepler rescue mission, raised her hand. "Colonel, what exactly are we trying to accomplish? Are we going to destroy their planet?" Matt shook his head. "No, we're going to do something much more difficult. We're going to convince them to surrender. We're going to show them that joining us is better than fighting us." This was the human way of war. Other species fought to destroy their enemies. Humans fought to turn their enemies into friends. As the ESV Sovereign prepared to jump to faster than light speed, Admiral Chris Taylor sent a message to Earth. "This is Admiral Taylor to Earth Command. We're beginning the final phase of the Liberation War. If this works, the Galactic Council will cease to exist within the month." "If it doesn't work," Chris paused. "If it doesn't work, at least our children will know that we tried." The Sovereign disappeared into faster-than-light travel, heading toward a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. The war was about to end, but not in the way anyone expected. The Galactic Council was shocked. Earth finally fought back. Part 5. The war ended not with a great battle, but with a conversation. Admiral Chris Taylor was sitting across a table from High Counselor Zexitar on the planet Altara. Between them was a document that would change the galaxy forever. "You could have destroyed our worlds," Zexitar said, his 4 purple eyes looking tired and confused. "Your human fleet has the power to wipe out entire planets. But instead you offered us peace. Why?" Chris looked out the window at the city below. Altarian civilians were walking in the streets, going about their normal lives. 6 months ago, these same people had supported the destruction of Earth. Now they were living under human protection. "Because destroying things is easy," Chris said. "Building something better is hard. We didn't fight this war to become the new Galactic Council. We fought to make sure there would never be another Galactic Council." The document on the table was called the Galactic Alliance Charter. It was very different from the old Council laws. Instead of some species ruling over others, all species would be equal partners. Instead of taking tribute from weaker worlds, stronger worlds would help weaker ones grow. President Jack Morrison had flown all the way from Earth to sign the charter. Jack was not a soldier or a scientist. He was a teacher from a small town in Colorado. But the people of Earth had chosen him to represent them because he understood what the war had really been about. "My fellow beings," Jack said, addressing representatives from 47 different species. 6 months ago, humans were considered the weakest species in the galaxy. Today, we are the strongest, but strength without wisdom is just another form of weakness. In the audience, many alien representatives were nodding their heads. They had seen what human strength could do. Human fleets had liberated dozens of worlds. Human technology had surpassed anything the old council had built, but they had also seen human mercy. When human forces had captured the Vorthak homeworld, they could have enslaved the entire population. Instead, they had freed Vorthak slaves and offered the Vorthak military jobs in the new Alliance fleet. When human scientists had cracked the secrets of Altarian technology, they could have kept it for themselves. Instead, they had shared it with every species in the Alliance. Admiral Rebecca Hall was chosen to command the new Alliance headquarters. The headquarters was built on a space station called Harmony Station, floating in neutral space between the territories of different species. "Rebecca," Chris said to her as they walked through the station's main corridor, "this job is going to be much harder than fighting the war. Fighting is simple. You point your weapons at the enemy and shoot. But keeping 47 different species working together, that's going to take real skill." Rebecca smiled. She was a small woman with gray hair, but she had the respect of every species in the Alliance. During the war, she had been the one to negotiate the surrender of 8 different alien homeworlds without firing a shot. "Chris, humans have been dealing with different groups of people for thousands of years. We've had wars between different countries, different religions, different ideas about how to live. We've learned that the only way to have real peace is to make sure everyone gets a fair deal." Dr. Kevin Porter was in charge of the new technology sharing program. Kevin's job was to make sure that every species in the Alliance could benefit from the best technology in the galaxy. The old council kept the best technology for themselves. Kevin explained to a group of newly liberated species, "We're going to do the opposite. If one species invents something useful, everyone gets to use it." This idea was revolutionary. For thousands of years, advanced technology had been a way for strong species to control weak ones. Now it would be a way for all species to grow stronger together. On Earth, the changes were amazing. Diseases that had killed humans for centuries were cured using alien medical technology. Energy problems were solved using Altarian power systems. Space travel became as easy as flying in an airplane. But the biggest change was in how humans saw themselves. For 15 years, they had felt weak and helpless. Now they knew they could accomplish anything if they worked together. Jake Sullivan, the commander who had started the war by pressing the Phoenix button, was now training alien cadets at the new Alliance Military Academy. His students included young Vorthak warriors, shape-shifting Morphics, and crystal-bodied Altarians. "The most important lesson you need to learn," Jake told his mixed class of human and alien students, "is that your enemy today might be your best friend tomorrow. We humans were enemies with the Vorthak Empire for 6 months. Now some of my best friends are Vorthak warriors." This was true throughout the galaxy. Former enemies were becoming close allies. Vorthak strength was being used to protect weaker species instead of conquering them. Altarian technology was being used to solve problems instead of creating weapons. Morphic shape-shifting abilities were being used for exploration instead of spying. Dr. Amy Foster was leading the Alliance's most ambitious project yet. Deep in space, far from any star, humans and aliens were working together to build something that had never existed before. A school for the entire galaxy. This school will have students from every species in the Alliance, Amy explained to her construction team. They'll learn about science, art, philosophy, and most importantly, they'll learn about each other. The idea was simple but powerful. If young beings from different species grew up learning together, they would never want to fight wars against each other when they became adults. On the former Council worlds, the changes were even more dramatic. Planets that had been stripped of resources for hundreds of years were being restored. Species that had been enslaved were learning to govern themselves. Worlds that had been isolated were joining the galactic community as equals. Slicks, the young Morphic who had helped free his people, was now serving as an ambassador between the Morphic worlds and the Alliance government. Humans taught us something very important, Slick said in a speech to his people. They taught us that freedom is not something you are given. Freedom is something you take for yourself and then share with others. The former Galactic Council members were adapting to their new lives in different ways. Some, like the Altarians, embraced the Alliance and became enthusiastic partners. Others, like the crystalline hegemony, remained suspicious but followed the Alliance rules. Admiral Velthara, the crystalline commander whose ship had been captured by humans, was now working as a strategic advisor to the Alliance fleet. She had been amazed to discover that humans treated former enemies with respect and dignity. I expected to be executed or enslaved, Velthara told Admiral Rebecca Hall during one of their planning meetings. Instead, you offered me a job and asked for my advice. This is unprecedented. Velthara, Rebecca replied, humans learned a long time ago that the best way to end a war is to turn your enemies into allies. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to be part of a galaxy that rules itself. As the first year of the Galactic Alliance came to an end, Jake Sullivan found himself back where it all started, on a space station orbiting Earth. But now, instead of watching alien ships approach with fear, he was watching ships from dozens of species arrive in friendship. His daughter, who was now 8 years old, was visiting the station. She played with children from 6 different species, laughing and learning together in ways that would have been impossible just a year before. Daddy, she asked him as they looked out at the stars together, will there ever be another war like the one you fought? Jake thought about this question carefully. The galaxy was not perfect. There were still disagreements between species. There were still problems to solve. But something fundamental had changed. Sweetheart, he said, there will always be conflicts between different groups of people, but I don't think there will ever be another war like the one we fought. Do you know why? Why? Because now everyone knows that it's better to work together than to fight each other. The aliens learned that lesson from us, and we learned it from each other. As Jake held his daughter and looked out at the peaceful fleet of Alliance ships, he reflected on how much had changed. A year ago, the Galactic Council had demanded Earth's children for experiments. Now, children from dozens of worlds were learning and playing together. The Council had been shocked when Earth finally fought back. But the real shock had come afterward, when Earth chose peace over revenge, partnership over domination, and hope over fear. The galaxy would never be the same again. And for the first time in thousands of years, that was exactly what everyone wanted. In the end, the greatest human victory was not winning the war. It was showing the galaxy that there was a better way to live than endless conflict between species. Humans had proven that the strongest species was not the one with the biggest weapons, but the one with the biggest heart. The stars were no longer a battlefield. They were a neighborhood, and humanity had taught everyone how to be good neighbors.